Hello everyone, welcome back to the course. Today in this video, we will be learning about how business will benefit from Hyperledger Fabric with an example. In the previous video, you guys remember that I was speaking about two parties and how they can enforce trust with each other. Well, in this video, let us learn more about it, how the Hyperledger Fabric can actually solve this problem. In general, both parties have their own software products to store process and transactions. Another option, well, this is where two parties will have a third party, and both of these parties A and party B will actually send the transactions to the third party, and this party will store all the transactions for the party A and party B. But the problem here is both parties can actually get some problems. There can be a problems in the both options. In the first option, if both parties have their own software products to store the transactions, the processes, well, at one point, actually, party A or party B can actually lose the correlation. They won't be same. There will be a mismatch between the both software products which store the transactions in different parties. In real world, it happens all the time. The other option can also create problems. For example, if the third party can manipulate it, then we cannot trust it at one point. We will never know. We cannot be sure the third party is actually storing the real transactions without manipulating anything. It takes a lot of time to settle the problem. When these kind of problems occur, and these occur quite often, it takes a lot of time to settle. For example, it can take even days, months, or in some situations, even years. This is quite hectic and creates quite a dent on the business. This is where Hyperledger can solve this problem. Let's take the option 1. Like I said before, there are two parties here. One is party A and one is party B. Party A stores the information in its own software, in its own databases. Party B stores in its own databases. At one point, there will be a mismatch in these two databases, and it takes a lot of time to settle on this problem. And in the same way, like I said in option 2, for example, there are three parties, party A, B, C. These three are exchanging some assets, commodities, or any type of transactions, digital assets, or anything. And all these transactions, they're sending them to the third party to store them. Well, another problem in this situation is what if one of these parties are globally present somewhere else? Then that creates a huge problem and huge situation since there's a time lag and the problem will escalate and it'll take a lot of time to settle. Then comes the third option. This is where we use Hyperledger Fabric. Hyperledger Fabric is used to automate this stuff without the third party. It uses blockchain technology to solve this problem. All three parties can actually sit down and write smart contract with the rules they want. And then what happens? This smart contract, which is nothing but the chain code on Hyperledger Fabric, can be deployed onto the community's network. They can actually choose which all peers would like to get into this channel with the consensus mechanism they have created. And once that is done, every transaction which occur between these parties, party A, B, C, will get into the Hyperledger Fabric's network, where in turn the peers will validate it. After the validation, it will be stored in the Hyperledger Fabric's database, the ledger. I would say the ledger. The peers will store all the transactions. They won't be manipulated. All the transactions will comply the chain code, which is mandatory. This is how we can automate it without the third party intervention. And this is how the Hyperledger Fabric can actually solve the problem. The main advantage of Hyperledger Fabric is it can actually modify, it can change, it can be altered depending on the business model. Thus, every business can choose its own consensus mechanism to work on. This is the best solution for businesses to actually use permission blockchain instead of public blockchain and to solve this problem. In the next section, we will be discussing about guide to ICO. We will create our own token on Ethereum.